Hey, YCS students, Mr. Hackman back here for week 3 of our digital learning online. I know it's been challenging the last couple of weeks, but just been seeing some of the classes that have been delivering, some of the effort that everybody has done, both students and staff, to make this challenging time in Hong Kong something that we can kind of not ignore, obviously, but rise above and continue to deliver not only academics, but in case here of our holistic education, our character education via assemblies. So it's a privilege to be able to do that. Has anybody ever to get out during the weekend? Did you get some fresh air? I know in my previous assemblies, I was talking about how we can spend a little too much time indoors, stir crazy, and I know we can be a little anxious and not wanting to go out because of the coronavirus. But you can see in this picture on Friday night for Valentine's Day, my wife and I went to the cinema. And yes, even complete with masks, we managed to have a nice evening, and trying to keep life as normal as we possibly can. Anyhow, we wanted to move into the assembly that I wanted to share with you today, and here we go. Just a second here. We're going to look at peace. Last week I looked at peace part 1. And I think you're well aware now we're working through the fruit of the Spirit, those aspects, those values that Jesus talked about having, that when they're evident in our lives, they would bring life to both ourselves and those around us. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control, gentleness, and faithfulness. And yes, as I mentioned, we're working through peace. And just to recap, peace being freedom from disturbance, just a sense of tranquility. There's a lot of tension, anxiousness around us, particularly in Hong Kong right now. And it's easy to kind of lose our peace. And it's going to be really important, not just for yourself, but for family members, friends, those around you, that you're able to be a bringer of peace and maybe not a disruptor of peace. I think that's why Jesus, and again, just recapping, Jesus would talk about peacemaking as being really, really important. In fact, he says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they'll be called the children of God. It's not like, oh, they'll be like really good people or, pat on the head. To have the moniker of a child of God shows you the value that Jesus places on being a bringer of peace. That when there's different parties, different people that are in tension and disruption, and it's easy to fuel those kind of tensions, we actually become people who say, let's bring peace to this situation. How can we resolve this situation? It's a value that Christ would really try to promote, especially for those that want to follow him. But I think even just generally in humanity, being a peacemaker is something we all kind of strive to be. I think we'd like to. Now, I want to ask a question for us in today's assembly. Is peace on earth, is that even possible? Because it seems like almost like a far-fetched idea. There's so much war and tension and disease and fear. And can we actually achieve peace on earth? And so I wanted to show a video that goes around the world and asks people in 22 different countries if that question, is peace even possible? And as you watch this, and we'll show it in just a moment, some say yes, some say no for various reasons. Watch this with me and consider the various reasons people give, and be thinking at first, what is your initial response to that? Is peace even possible? And what are your reasons for it? And then maybe when you hear others from different parts of the planet, even Hong Kong, maybe your perspective might change a little bit.
War and peace, I think they're binaries. I don't think you can contemplate the one without the other.
Yes, isn't that the giant question?
Depends.
Credo che bisognerebbe prima chiedersi se sia possibile la pace dentro noi stessi.
世界和平有冇可能？我覺得唔係太可能嘅嘢嚟嘅。
Yes, peace on earth if there's unity in all of us.
Ik ben bang van niet. Het zit in de aard van de mens om oorlog te maken.
많은 어려움이 있겠지만 가능하다고 생각합니다.
Yes.
J'ai l'impression que tant qu'il y aura des hommes, il n'y aura jamais de paix.
Φυσικά και είναι εφικτή. Απλώς πρέπει να κατανοήσεις πρώτα την αγάπη.
Теоретически, конечно, возможен, а практически, мне кажется, нет.
Teško, ali nadajmo se da jeste.
Yo creo que la paz es posible si colaboramos todos.
Με τη λογική του ανθρώπου, όχι.
Yes, I do believe peace on earth is really possible.
冇可能，永遠都唔會發生。
Tak, jest możliwe.
No, non è possibile la pace nel mondo.
De quiero tomo más.
Diría que es casi imposible que haya paz en la Tierra, porque las opiniones humanas nos llevan a discutir y dejar de pelear en parte sería perder nuestra humanidad.
Sí, siempre.
No.
Perché sta messo sa.
Prima pensate a far pace con mia madre e me e poi pensiamo alla pace del mondo.
Zaradi tega pohlepa ne more biti na razhodu.
As long as people they can get together, there'll be peace and harmony.
Yani şu sistem içinde mümkün değil. Yes.
不可能吧？
Jest możliwy, wszystko zależy od ludzi.
Moguće mir, ali mi ga ne želimo očigledno.
Стигането на световен мир е възможен, ако хората изчезнат от земята.
I don't think so. Too many egos, too many people, too many weapons.
If love is equally distributed to all of the world, peace can be shared.
If there's peace, you're preparing for war. And if there's war, you're fighting for peace. Wasn't that cool? Say yes. Come on, then you agree.
Okay. Let me just bring back the PowerPoint here. What I thought was interesting as I rewatched it, I've watched that video now maybe 2 or 3 times, and there's always one of the people whose input really stands out to me. And this time, it was the girl who said, "No, not in the present system," which made me start to ask the question, well, then how do we change the system? Anyhow, what did you think of that video? And just watching it again, as I say, some people are optimistic. You could see about half of the people are saying, yeah, of course it can happen. And others are like, no way, like whether it's not because of the system or people's egos, there's just too much reality of the world in order to really be able to consider whether that's possible or not, having the earth, there to be really peace on earth. But whether or not you agree peace on earth is really possible, I think we can all agree on one thing, that it's very difficult. It's not easy. In these troubled times, people can be so divided on social, political, and cultural issues. And, I think I've raised these 3 separate issues that are really dividing people in around the world in different countries. In the United States, the policies and ways of President Trump, they've caused a lot of deep division. To be honest, even this morning, I got a private message from a longtime friend of mine who's a Christian pastor. And we differ on this issue. And we were communicating back and forth. He was giving his perspective. I was giving my perspective. What those perspectives are not important in this assembly. But I really was trying to, as I was interacting with this person, be thinking about how do I bring peace to this situation? How do I not agitate the situation? And it's hard because I think we really don't agree, and our opinions are pretty not volatile is too strong of a word, but we're very passionate about why we believe what we do. And so that's why being a peacemaker can be really difficult. I mean, just quickly going on, obviously in the UK, with the Brexit issue, I have a lot of UK friends on both sides of this issue who feel very strongly on these types of subjects. And here in Hong Kong, what even before the coronavirus, with the protests and the yellow and the blue. And again, I have friends on both sides of that political, cultural divide. And to try to bring peace into those situations become very, really, really difficult. It's not an easy path to walk. And again, that's why I think Jesus really had to emphasize, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God, because it is so much easier to stir up trouble than to bring peace. I know it's tempting. Even when I was interacting with my friend today, there was part of me that just wanted to sting him, to just kind of, and I really have to be careful that, like I say here, that I'm not stirring up trouble, but I'm trying to bring peace. I've often said, with our words, with our writing, we can either fuel fires or we can put fires out. And that's why it's really important, as you develop and as you grow, that you become aware, even at times when you fail. There's times where I say things I regret that I think, man, that stirred up trouble rather than helping the situation, but it made me feel good inside. Just to be able to be aware of those types of things, I think are really important as you grow and as you develop. Anyhow, peace starts with us. Before we can bring peace to the earth, our communities, our immediate relationships, we first have to develop peace within ourselves. If internally, if inside we're filled with fear, anxiousness, stress, we're not going to be equipped to bring peace to others. So I'm going to kind of close here. I was tempted, I wanted to go into some practical steps, but I realized I didn't want this to be too long of an assembly. So I thought next week what I'll do is I'll unpack my little 2-in-1 here keeps covering my pictures there. I wanted to look at some practical steps maybe next week and how we can develop peace within ourselves so that we can be those peacemakers and children of God that Jesus talks about. I do want to leave you though with that question. Be thinking about, is peace on earth possible? Why or why not? To be able to give those kind of maybe a justification for why you feel one way or the other. As I close this time, let's just say a prayer together, asking God's help in this horrible situation we're seeing ourselves in the city, not only in the city, but in mainland China, and of course, increasingly the world. Join me in this prayer. God of hope and healing, at this time of a virus outbreak, give courage and healing to the sick, patience to the suffering, and comfort to the anxious. Grant those in authority and the medical personnel wisdom and sensitivity to manage the situation. Pour your love upon us so that we can be an encouragement and a help for each other at this time of need. Abide with us in our going out and our coming in. Protect us all and give us the assurance of your faith, hope, and love. We offer our prayer to Jesus Christ, in whose name wholeness, salvation, and peace come. Amen. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic week this week. If there's anything either I or the CCDD staff can do to support you, please let us know. Google Classrooms, CCDD Google Classrooms have been established for each year group. Feel free to ask a question. If there's a prayer need, something you'd like us to pray for, we're ready to support you in whatever way. Thank you and God bless. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.